I've been in therapy for 2.5 years almost, and I'm seeing two different therapists, and it's two different therapy modalities. So the one is cognitive behavioral therapy. I think that is what most people choose, or what most people go for in the beginning, at least, I assume. And the other one is Gestalt therapy. And Gestalt therapy it is talk therapy too, but Gestalt therapy is rather that you're focusing on the moment, on the now, and how you feel right now. And you also use different techniques in Gestalt rather than in CBT. In CBT, I would usually focus on my thoughts with my therapist and on the past, what has happened in the past, and how my thoughts affect me during my day and how they have affected me throughout my life. And according to that, she would suggest me certain things, certain techniques, or she would give me certain exercises that I should do, or she would tell me to write down my thoughts during the day, just write them down and reflect upon them, see what I've been thinking, and how I would be able to change the thought pattern. She would, give me certain sometimes she shares certain videos with me, YouTube videos, or even websites where there's different kind of explanations on how you can change your thought pattern and how you can realize your thoughts. So I would be doing that. I've done that a lot in the beginning, and after a while I also started Gestalt therapy. So I started CBT first around 2.5 years ago, and then around 6 months ago I also decided to give Gestalt therapy a shot, and I did so. I started a while ago, and it's been great, I have to say. Gestalt is, again, like I said, it's also talk therapy, but my therapist, she would usually bring me back into this moment. She would ask me, how do you feel about this and this right now? Like, what emotions come up? What thoughts come up? How does it make you feel? One example would be, I would telling her if I feel, let's say I feel sad or angry about the situation, she would ask me, where do you feel it in your body right now? And then I would say I either feel it in my tummy, in my stomach, or in my chest, in my heart. And what we usually do then is that we focus on that area. So if I say I feel it in my heart, she would tell me to put my hand on my heart, to put my hands on my heart, and then just to feel. And then she would ask me, how does it feel? What kind of pain is it? Or is it some kind of pressure? Like, how exactly does it feel? Then I explained to her how it feels. And after that, she would ask me what I feel like doing. Like, what does my body tell me? So if I feel into it, if I tell her the pain, like how it exactly feels, then I would listen to my body, like my body would give me signals, or I would feel somehow that, I either need to massage that area, or I would tap. Usually I love tapping, I do that very often, or I would just press on a certain point on my chest, or just breathe into it. So we did that once. We did the breathing technique. So I actually had some kind of pressure in my chest, and then we would focus on my chest area, and then she would just say breathe into it. And she was actually breathing with me. So she did that, and I love that. I've never seen that before. I never had that kind of experience with a therapist, but she was actually breathing with me. So as I was breathing into my chest, she said just breathe, just focus on it and just breathe normally. And all of a sudden I broke down. I had a breakdown. I mean, well, I don't know if it's a breakdown, but I just started crying. I just, tears were coming down my face, and I just started crying so much because I felt like something was releasing, something was just going out of my body, and I could feel that, and I was sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. I was crying so much. I think I cried for at least 20 minutes of the session, and in the end I felt so relieved and so light. I can't even, it's really hard to describe that feeling, but something really was lifted from my chest, and I felt that. I felt just so light and so peaceful after releasing that. And it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to know what it is. You don't have to know what kind of trauma it was or what kind of stuck emotion it is. You just focus on that until it's coming out, until it's releases. And so that's the main difference to CBT. I have to say both help me a lot. I know that a lot of people say that talk therapy only doesn't help. I agree with that. I think talk therapy only does not help, at least not in my case. It didn't help because I feel like I always need to release certain emotions through my body. It's not only through talking, because I realize whenever I feel tense, whenever I feel like there is something in my body, and usually I do feel it in my chest or in my throat. Sometimes I just want to stand up and shake it out, and or I dance. I love dancing, so I dance it out somehow. But I still have to say CBT also did help me in the beginning, because the main reason I started therapy was because of panic attacks and anxiety. So 2.5 years ago, I started having sudden panic attacks, and I didn't know where they were coming from. And that's the main reason I looked up a therapist and wanted to start therapy. And I didn't even know back then that I was doing CBT. I realized it later. I just went online, looked for a therapist, went with the first one who caught my attention somehow, and thank God she was a really good pick, and I really get along with her very well. I know that is hard too, to find a really good therapist that you also like and that you can share your stuff with. Talking through that has helped me too, because I've realized, for me especially, that I haven't been talking a lot about my trauma. I haven't been sharing a lot. Usually I always kept quiet because that's how I grew up. When you grow up in a narcissistic household, you tend to shut up, you tend to not talk, you tend to make yourself small. So for me in the beginning, it was really important to literally open my mouth and literally talk it out, talk about everything, tell everything about what has happened, how I feel, what's going on inside of me, because I've never done that throughout my whole life. So it was really good for me just to speak it out to someone, and someone who actually listens to you and understands you. So in that case, it really helped me to do that. But after a while, I also realized that, okay, apart from talking it out or speaking it out, I need something else. So first, what I did was to look also for another therapy modality, and also to integrate other things into my life. For example, I did somatics. I integrated somatics into my life, breath work, tapping, and different things. And I will share this too. I will share how this or those things have helped me too in my experience, in my path. I will share that in future videos. What I can say from my experience is that I know, first of all, I know therapy is expensive. I know it is really hard to find a good therapist. I completely understand that. But if you can afford a therapist, and if you are willing to talk about it, if you really need support from someone, please do that. I would really suggest anyone who's been going through hardship, who's been going through lots of trauma and issues. Therapy has helped me so much, so much. I don't know if I would be able to do this right now, to record this video right now, if it wasn't for therapy. Maybe I would have done it, but probably it would have taken me a lot more time and a lot more effort. But through therapy, I've realized so many things about myself. You know, if the therapist is asking you the real questions and good questions, which make you think, yeah, then it's really worth it. Then it's really worth seeing a therapist. And I really hope, like, I wish therapy was affordable for everyone, and I wish, you know, that everyone would have access to therapy, because I think everyone should see a therapist, no matter if you had trauma or not. I think it's just great to talk to someone, you know, who is willing to listen to you and like who's willing to guide you and support you. So I wish that really everyone would see a therapist. I think that would really help us all in general. I think our society would be just so much healthier if everyone would be talking to someone. Yeah, hopefully someday that will happen too. But again, in my opinion, CBT and Gestalt have really helped me a lot. I know that there is also other therapy modalities like EMDR and internal family systems. I don't know much about them, to be honest. I just heard that EMDR also helps a lot. Again, even though I don't really have any experience with it, it's only from what I've read from others' experiences. But in my opinion, like, give it a shot. I definitely can recommend CBT in the beginning if you want to do that, and Gestalt is really what has somehow released more through my body. And I probably will make another video on it, only about Gestalt therapy and, you know, what it entails exactly and how I was able to release more through my body. But for now, I just want to say that I'm really thankful for the therapy I had so far, and I'm continuing the therapy. I will be continuing for, I don't know how long, to be honest, but for now it feels right to do it. So I'm continuing that along with other techniques that I use throughout my day.